Hey, what's up, fellas? How we doing? Man, Antonelli here. Today we are talking about what you received during your major league debut. We've talked in the past about how I got the ball for my first major league hit. If you haven't seen that video, go back and check it out. I threw it up probably a month or two ago. But the other thing that I received is the lineup card from that game. You can see it here in the background, and I'm going to zoom in on it in a minute, kind of show you what it looks like, so you get an idea of what a lineup card looks like. These are posted in the dugout before and during the game. You can see a lot of things get kind of marked off here by, our manager was Buddy Black, so usually the manager or the bench coach, somebody is going to kind of keep track of what's going on during the game on the lineup card. You'll be able to see a lineup that we had that game, and some of the guys I played against, it was cool, because we played against the Dodgers and they had a bunch of ex-Red Sox. My favorite player of all time was Manny Ramirez, and he was hitting third for them, I think, that game. So we'll look at that in a second. Before that, make sure that you guys check out the description link below. We have a deal going on with Plate Crate. You guys will get 50% off your first Plate Crate by clicking that link below. So check it out. Really cool deal for you guys. Okay, so let's kind of zoom in here on the lineup card, talk about it, and check it out. All right, so here's the card. Got to do it from a little bit of a side angle just because the glare is a little difficult to see. But again, you get these cards. This is going to be out every game before the game, hanging up in the dugout. And I don't know if you can tell how big it is. It's pretty big. I mean, this is a large frame, and so they're not these little tiny things. Again, they don't frame the card for you after the game or anything. They just give you the card, and then I did the framing on my own. Just have it hanging here in the office. So let's kind of check out the lineups for that day. You see the game, Padres, Dodgers. It's got all that information at the top. And then you can look at the lineup. I was hitting in the big 8-hole. That's where they put the power hitters. So first game I hit 8. During my career in the major leagues, I think I hit 1, 7, and 8 pretty much. Never got a chance to hit in the middle of the lineup. But you can see we got Brian Giles. Just looking back at some of the guys that you probably don't know everybody on this list. Again, my first game was almost 10 years ago now. So, some of the veteran guys, we had Giles. Kevin Kuzmanov was, a super solid player for us. He didn't have a really long career, but the years that he played well, played really good defense at third base for us that year. You got Adrian Gonzalez hitting fourth. Chase Headley was actually in the outfield that year. We did a little experiment trying him out in the outfield for a season. I think it was only one season, and then he ended up moving to third base. Had some really good years before getting sent over to the Yankees. Will Venable was in center. Nick Hundley was behind the plate. So these were a bunch of my buddies that I kind of came up with throughout the minor leagues. That was one of the cool things about getting called up that year. It was a bunch of guys that I had played with and, was friends with. And then we had Chris Young on the mound. Let's see, what else do we have here? Available pitchers. We had Trevor Hoffman as our closer. Heath Bell. So we had some really good veteran guys on the team, and then we had a lot of young guys, obviously, sprinkled in. The cool part, again, for me, was playing against the Dodgers, and their lineup was filled with, a lot of really good players, but, a couple of ex-Red Sox, which for me was cool because I grew up being I was a huge Red Sox fan, and Manny Ramirez is my favorite player of all time, so being able to play against him and opening, my first game was awesome. So they had Russell Martin catching, Andre Ethier was in right, Manny Ramirez in left, James Loney's at first, Matt Kemp was in center, Casey Blake was a veteran guy at third, Blake DeWitt was at second, Angel Baroa was at short, and then Greg Maddux was on the mound. You can see Garcia Parra there got in. He hit for the pitcher at one point, and he was my two favorite players growing up were Manny Ramirez and Nomar Garcia Parra. Nomar pretty much because I was a shortstop, and he was a shortstop for the Red Sox, my favorite team, and I was probably in Little League at the time when he was with the Red Sox, so he was someone I really looked up to, and then obviously Manny was just the greatest. So let's see, Jonathan Broxton came in and closed the game that day for them. Here's a look at their bench. Juan Pierre, it looks like, was on the bench. Jones. I don't know if that was Adam Jones. Not Adam Jones. Andrew Jones. Adam Jones was not with the Orioles at that time. Yeah, but Andrew Jones, I think it might have been. And then their pitching staff, in the bullpen, a bunch of different guys. So a couple other things. You can see the highlights, and some things are colored in, with different colors and everything. So the red marks are, red is pitchers that come in, so bullpen guys. The highlighted blue means that they're basically done. So you can see, like, if you look at the Dodgers, Maddox threw, and then they brought in Joe Beimel, I think, and Wade, and they brought in a bunch of guys, and then they finished with Broxton. So you can see Broxton's name isn't highlighted because he was the last pitcher in the game, and same thing happened with us. And then the blue, again, is guys that came off the bench to hit or got in the game, so the coach or the manager is able to kind of keep track of all that stuff. You can see there's like numbers with circles next to the guys' names, a lot of position guys. That's just who ends the inning. So, when a guy ends an inning, like the writing is kind of scribbled. But when the guy usually ends the first inning, you'll circle it and put a 1. And then you have an idea who's kind of ending innings. You also know who's coming up the next inning. So, if you're a manager or a coach, a pitching coach, whatever, and you're trying to decide on strategy, you don't have to sit there and go, hey, who made last out last inning? Who is that? You just can go up to the lineup card and look. Same thing for your team. If you're thinking about pinch hitters or anything like that, you've got a quick idea of, okay, who made last out, who's coming up next, and you can start to kind of go over some of the strategy for that following inning. What else? Got your umpires up here in the top left. I was really terrible at remembering umpires' names. You always put them up there, though. The manager and coaches need it up there because, after a while, you just end up knowing everyone's name. Most people, except for me, I can never remember names. But, if you've got to argue a call or if you've got a question, it's not like in Little League when you're like, hey, Blue. Like, if you do that in the major leagues, umpire's going to slap you. Say my name's not Blue, it's Bill. So you want to know everybody's name. It's important. Call everyone by name. No one calls anyone Blue or Sir or anything like that. Let's see if there's anything else interesting on this card. I think we kind of went over everything. But again, really, really cool for me, not just to keep it, but really because of that guy, Ramirez, on there. And, Manny Big League me, I don't know if I told this story or not. So he got on one inning this game, and I think he hit a double. I think he hit a grand slam. He hit a grand slam. I don't know if it was this game or the next game or whatever, but he went off against us, just crushed us. But anyways, he hit a double one time, I think it was, and his helmet fell off running the second. And so I went over and grabbed it, and he was like talking to our shortstop, and I was like, I brought it over to him, and he didn't look. I was kind of like behind him, and he didn't like look to grab his helmet. He was talking, and I was like, Manny, hey Manny, and he like just refused to like turn and look at me. So then I just kind of reached around him, gave him his helmet, and he grabbed it and put it on. Didn't say anything to me. Didn't really even look at me, and then I just walked back to second base. Sad. So I thought maybe I'd get a chance to chat with him, but he wanted no part of me. So that's my Manny Ramirez story. Anyways, this is what it looks like. And I'd be interested to hear if other players that make their debut get lineup cards. I'm sure they do. I don't think it's something that just the Padres do, but that's one thing I've never really asked anyone that's played in the major league. So maybe I'll try to find that out. If you guys know, let me know. So please share the video with all your friends. Subscribe to the channel if you're not done so already. Give us a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate that. What else? Check out our Instagram, Antonelli Baseball, Twitter feed, Antonelli9. Posting videos all the time for you guys. Check out the description box below where I put that the plate crate link, and also put some books and training tools we use with our players. Check out our website, AntonelliBaseball.com, for more information on how to work with our teams and our staff. And that's all I got for you guys. Thank you so much again for watching. I appreciate it, and we'll talk to you later.